Thank you, Ramona, for that quick introduction. I want to say, listening to all the councillors here tonight, I think Siparia and Pinal and the United National Congress is strong in Fyzabad. Give yourself a round of applause. Really, really strong and dynamic bunch of councillors that we have here. Let me first recognize my colleague. I call him the hero from Fyzo. We crowned him in Pointe A Pierre when he spoke on TT Speaks a couple of weeks ago. We call him the hero from Fyzo, Dr. Blackram, my colleague. Thank you so much for inviting me. I recognize you as my other member of parliament for Couva North, Mr. Ravi Ratiram. Thank you for coming all the way down here. I recognize our PRO, Dr. Kurt Meru. I recognize Alderman Angie Benjamin from the Couva Tabaki Talparo Corporation. And you recognize that all these individuals coming from far, because here is really far. I came all the way from Port of Spain. All right, so I know Ramona talked about Pointe A Pierre, but I came all the way from Port of Spain to be here to support my brother, Dr. Budo, and you, the beautiful people of Fyzabad. Because Fyzabad and Pointe A Pierre has something in common. We have Petrotrin in common. The disaster and the wanton failure by this government in shutting down Petrotrin. Because Pointe A Pierre and Fyzabad, we are related not only by colleagues, but we are related in the energy sector. And they destroyed not only Pointe A Pierre, but they destroyed Fyzabad by shutting down Pointe A Pierre. All the fence line communities of both Fyzabad and Pointe A Pierre was devastated by the destruction by Rowley and his callous cabinet colleagues in shutting down Pointe A Pierre. Now, I had a lot to say tonight, but listening to my friend, Meru, and his other team members, I started to scratch off everything from my speech because it's hard to come after Meru. I mean, I don't know what he'll say in the radio tomorrow morning, so he had to go and draft up another thing there. But I want to say, listening to all the councillors here tonight, there's one thing that we have in common. We do agree with what the Vice President Bharat Jagdeo said to Rowley and this country. And I want to quote it because it is damning what he said from Guyana about us. And it is really a reality check that he also said about what is happening in our country. And I want to quote Vice President Jagdeo. And I quote, "Look at what is happening in Trinidad now. Trinidad is falling apart, and that's putting it mildly, falling apart. No jobs, sustained periods of negative growth, and can't see the light of day for the near future." And we listened to all the councillors here tonight, and every one of them talked about the sufferation and the lack of performance that they can give their burgesses and the people of Fyzabad because of the starvation by this government, central government, for the past 6 to 7 years on local government. And that will continue under Faris Alwari. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. Faris Alwari was a failure as Attorney General, and he will be a failure as Minister of Local Government. That is the most common thing that will happen with Faris Alwari. So no amount of good looks or well-dressed or pocket squares, as according to my member for St. Augustine, Khadija Amin, pocket squares and fluff, is going to change the performance of Faris Alwari. Faris Alwari doesn't know anything about local government. We had a local government minister in Kazim Hussein, and he grew up in local government, but he was a failure. He was a failure. He's a nice fella. He comes and he talks to all the councillors nice, and he's call them on the phone and say, "Don't bad talk me, you know. Don't bad talk me. You will get it tomorrow. Don't bad talk me. The Minister of Finance don't want to release the funds." Right? So hold on. It come in. He's saying that for the last 6 years, not so, Meru? And he does that to all our councillors. So I say to thank God Rowley moved Kazim. And Kazim, my friend, thank God they moved him to Minister of Agriculture. And the other day I saw in the papers in front page when they moved him the next day, and they appointed 2 other ministers, junior ministers, to assist Kazim. And 3 of them over a poor little calf. They're taking advantage of that calf already the next day. Right? And they don't know what to do with the calf. Just like Kazim didn't know what to do with local government, he would not know what to do with the Ministry of Agriculture. Just like Faris Alwari was a failure as Attorney General, he will be a failure as Minister of Local Government. They're just passing the buck, as the Honorable Leader, Kamala Prasad Bisesa says, you're just shuffling the jokers in the pack. And nothing is going to change. When you look and you listen to all our councillors here tonight, and you go to all the ministries, and I listen to Mr. Bim about in the Ministry of Education. All that Minister of Education does is consultation. So Mr. Bim is correct. They have a nice fancy paper. They get the best English writers to write the document, but nothing happens with the document. Our education system is in a shambles. It hasn't been in a shambles. So I really want to spend some time on Paria. And I went to a press conference invited today by esteemed attorney Jal Ramdeen, who's the attorney for LCMS, right? And also he's handling the legal aspect for Kazim Ali Jr., along with the other families. And in that press conference this afternoon at 1 o'clock, Mr. Ramdeen released a set of documents. And in one of the most telling piece of documents was the autopsy done by, private autopsy, a second autopsy, done by Professor Hubert Daisley. And in his analysis, his post-mortem examination report, and it is here, and Jal Ramdeen released it to the press this afternoon. I have a copy. It talked about, and I have been asking since the disaster happened on the 25th of February at 2:45 p.m. Professor Daisley is saying in his report that the divers were alive up to 39 hours. 39 hours. So they were in the pipeline in different air pockets up to a worst case 39 hours. And that tells us as a country, as a people, the callousness of those directors and those high officials in Paria, and even some of our government officials in how they handled Paria and that situation with those 4 divers. And that is why I say Pointe A Pierre and Fyzabad, we have lots in common. Now, I just want to read the autopsy report. So the time of the incident happened on the 25th of February, 2:45 p.m., Friday. The time of the body of Kazim Ali Jr., one of those divers, was on the 28th of February, 2022. That was a Monday at 6 p.m. Professor Daisley is saying that the earliest time of death, meaning from 2:45 p.m., the earliest time of death that the divers could have died was 15 hours. And that would have been approximately around on the 26th Saturday at 6 p.m. And the best and the latest time of death was 39 hours after the Sunday at 6 a.m. And I have always asked in our press conference, the opposition, that window of opportunity at 2:45 p.m. when that disaster happened, and up to midnight on Friday, because there's evidence that as at midnight on Friday, there was sounds coming from the pipe, where at Bird 5, certain employees were ponging on the outside, ponging on the pipe, and they were getting a response by getting another pong from inside the pipe. So that says that the divers were alive up at least until midnight of Friday. And what is so telling about Paria and the callousness, which we have said, the opposition, there is something called a whiteboard, that when the incident happened, and I'll read some things from the whiteboard, it's there in general public. At 2:15 p.m., on the whiteboard, which is handwritten, based on in Paria's, I call it their war room, based on what was happening in repairs. At 2:15 p.m., the first writing was, 5 divers enter the chamber. So at 2:15 p.m. on Friday, the 5 divers entered the chamber. At 3:48 p.m., that's about what, 2 minutes to 4. The other writing on the board was the HSE personnel, one Mr. S. Ramkisoon, I don't know if it's a man, a male or a female, reported chances of survival are slim. So at 2:15, the divers entered the chamber. At 3:48 p.m., 2 minutes to 4, something transpired. And that was when the divers were sucked into the tanks around 3:30. So at 2 minutes to 4, Paria is saying the chances of survival are slim. So they have given up hope. They have given up hope on the divers at 2 minutes to 4 p.m. on a Friday. At 17:45, at 5:45 Friday afternoon, Colin Piper, who is one of the key management individuals in Paria, informed management that one person was rescued. And that one person was Mr. Budram, who came out on his own, out of the pipe, came through the chamber, and then his nephew, his son, his colleague, was able to jump into the water and pull him out of the chamber. But at 2 minutes to 4, 3:48 p.m., Paria had given up hope on the Friday. At 5:45, 5:45, Mr. Budram came out alive. And he came out alive and was telling the officials, the other divers are alive in the pipe. Go and get them. And what happened after Mr. Budram came out? Paria did nothing after that. Nothing after that. And that is why it is so, we need answers. The families need answers. The country needs answers. And the country must ask, who is this Prime Minister protecting at Paria? Because at 5:45, Mr. Budram came out. He said the other divers were alive. Because the autopsy, based on what Professor Daisley is saying, is that in a best case, they were alive up to 39 hours after. And there were signals and signs coming from the pipe up and at least midnight on Friday that these divers were alive. And one has to ask the question, why Paria did nothing to save those divers? And that is the question the country must keep asking and must not allow it to go away. Because on Sunday at 8 p.m., so with Friday it happened, at Sunday at 8 p.m., between the Friday, when that one individual came out alive on his own, Paria did nothing as far as trying to rescue those remaining 4 divers. And at Sunday 8 p.m., Paria management had a press conference, because I was along there in Pointe A Pierre, at 8 p.m., and had literally given up hope and said they're changing it from savior or survival to rescue. Or they were trying now just to get the bodies out of the pipe on Monday. And these are the questions that we must ask. And I am calling today, right now, tonight, just like the opposition has called, that Newman George, the chairman of Paria, along with Mustaq Mohammed, the CEO, and Colin Piper, must demit Paria immediately. And all evidence that has happened since 35 days ago must be preserved, because this incident happened 35 days ago. And up to the day, it's business as normal in Paria. All the evidence, none of it has been preserved. And we are asking what the TTPS is doing about it. Now, the Commission of Inquiry is one thing, and we have seen that has been dancing around by this government, because you first heard that it was going to have a three-member committee for the Commission of Inquiry, and now it's down to 2 members, and then the third would be some sort of consultation or consultancy by experts of divers. And up to the day, the Commission of Inquiry has not started. Has not started. So, and up to the day, the Paria has not reached out to the families of these individuals to even ask them or even offer them sustenance. And we saw how they were treated on Friday when this incident happened to when the bodies were recovered on Monday. So we are calling on the government. We are calling on the government to meet with these families, to offer them some financial assistance while the Commission of Inquiry goes on, because the Commission of Inquiry will cost millions of dollars, while these 4 divers and their families of the 4 divers are suffering financially. And that, as a country, as a population, as a people, we will not tolerate that, ladies and gentlemen. We must call. We are calling on the removal of the chairman, Newman George, along with the CEO, Mustaq Mohammed, and Colin Piper, who played a great hand in this debacle or this fiasco of those 4 divers not being rescued or even attempt to be rescued, at least in the first 15 hours of that disaster. And you will hear more about that Paria incident, and you will not be surprised, I will not be surprised, as Meru said, that there's some deflection by this government that comes tomorrow or the day after. Because you see the outfit that Rowley wore yesterday or the 2 days ago is a deflection. Don't get fooled by that, you know. Don't get fooled by that outfit. That outfit was a deflection tactic. Okay, so while we respect him, you know, with the spiritual Baptist and thing, that outfit was pure deflection, as we have seen. Even with the reshuffle of the cabinet is another deflection. So don't be surprised. You will see another deflection coming by this government over the next few days. So ladies and gentlemen, I know your MP is waiting in the wings to talk, and tonight is his night. And I just want to say before I close, tonight I was going to talk about Pointe A Pierre, you know, but I'll leave that for another time. Because he deserves a little lash because of that article in the papers today. He really deserves a lash, because when you read that article, and the article talks about 2 alternatives but no options, and when you read that article, it's all about Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And you would never think that Pointe A Pierre, and I respect Pointe A Pierre, you would never think that he was a senior cabinet member under Kamla Persad-Bissessar between 2010 to 2015, and in the opposition as another senior MP from 2015 to 2020. All I would say tonight, I won't get in, Dr. Pointe A Pierre, United National Congress is disappointed in you. Because I remind the population, and I want Dr. Tiwari to come and denounce what I'm saying. In 2015, when Kamla Persad-Bissessar had appointed him the member for Caroni Central at Atto Boldon Stadium, he did not even want to wear our yellow shirt. He wanted to keep on the white shirt as for Caroni Central MP. And we gave him a choice. It's either the yellow or nothing at all. And that tells you the individual of Dr. Pointe A Pierre, and I will say more about Dr. Pointe A Pierre another time. But tonight is really about the people of Fyzabad and how they're being treated. And I really want to thank Dr. Tiwari, Dr. Budo. Sorry, Dr. Budo. You could never be like Dr. Tiwari. Trust me. Trust me. And I want to say before I close, the opposition is fighting every day, tooth and nail, for our great party, the United National Congress. Sundays we have presser. Monday night we have virtual. Thursday we have TT Speaks. Every day of the week, there's something happening in our great party. And yet, you find you have naysayers saying that the party is not doing enough. We hear it all the time. We hear it. I want to tell you, United National Congress under the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa is alive and well, and will return to victory whenever that is called. I promise you that. I want to thank Dr. Bodo for allowing me some time here tonight. I want to thank the beautiful people of Fyzabad, a tremendous crowd here tonight. I thank you. I thank you.